Songs in the Night, November 12th. The chosen text from Exodus chapter 3, verses 12. Certainly I will be with thee. Explanation. Our text is an inspiration to the Lord's people everywhere and at all times when endeavoring properly to do any part of the Lord's work, heeding His call through the Word. If God be for us, and if God be with us, who can prevail against us eventually? There may be with us, as they were with Moses and his service, various difficulties, trials, vexations, and disappointments, for we have the treasure of the new nature in earthen vessels, and the weaknesses and imperfections and short-sightedness of these are sure at times to cause us difficulties and discouragements. On such occasions, our duty is to turn the eyes of our understanding to Him whom we serve, whose ambassadors and representatives we are, and to recall His promise. Certainly, I will be with thee. This means eventual victory, though perhaps through devious ways that we know not and accept not, which nevertheless will ultimately prove to have been advantageous to us and to our Master's glory. Reprint number 2910, hymn number 126. Amen.
Welcome to the deep dive. We've got a really focused piece of source material today. An excerpt, actually. It's from Songs in the Night, November 12th.
That's right. And it zeroes in on this one huge promise from Exodus 3.1. Certainly I will be with thee.
Mm-hmm.
And our mission, really, is to unpack what the commentary says that means, especially when things get tough, particularly for people involved in what the source calls the Lord's work.
Right, because it raises that big question immediately. If you have that fundamental promise, that divine backing, well, who can actually stand against you in the long run? Eventually.
That word eventually is doing a lot of work there.
It really is, because the source doesn't sugarcoat things at all. It points straight to Moses,
Yeah.
and reminds us that difficulties, trials, vexations, disappointments, these aren't just possible, they're kind of expected, part of the deal.
Which sets up a kind of paradox, doesn't it? If victory is somehow assured from the start, why does the actual experience, the journey, feel so, painful sometimes, so full of setbacks?
Exactly, and this is where I think the source offers its most clarifying insight. It gives a reason why those trials feel inevitable.
And what's that?
It's because we hold this treasure of the new nature in earthen vessels.
Yeah.
The mission might be perfect, but the person carrying it out, the servant, is, well, human, flawed.
Ah, the earthen vessel. So the difficulties, the discouragements, they aren't necessarily a sign that the mission is failing.
Yeah.
They stem from our limitations, our own, weaknesses and imperfections and short-sightedness, as the text explicitly says.
So you're almost guaranteed to struggle because you're not a perfect instrument. That's baked in.
Precisely. And the source seems to suggest that a lot of our discouragement comes from expecting perfection from ourselves, from this imperfect vessel, rather than from the task itself.
Okay, so if that's the brutal reality check, if you will, what does the text say we should do when we hit that wall, that moment of feeling like a failure?
It actually simplifies things quite a bit. The instruction is basically to shift your focus, to turn the eyes of our understanding to Him whom we serve.
So look away from the immediate mess, the sort of the broken pottery feeling.
Yeah.
And remember the bigger picture, the original promise. Recall that you're just an ambassador, a representative.
Right. Your job isn't flawlessness, it's faithfulness. It's just sticking to your duty.
And that shift, that focus on duty over, say, immediate results, that must change how we even define victory, right?
It absolutely does. The source still guarantees eventual victory, make no mistake. But, and this is key, it warns that this victory often doesn't look like the straight line we drew on our plan.
Okay. So success might not be tidy.
Not necessarily. The source uses this interesting phrase. It says, success often arrives through devious ways that we know not and expect not.
Devious ways. That sounds almost negative.
But what may be unexpected or circuitous is a better way to think about it now. Routes that might even look like failures from the outside, or at least not like progress as we defined it. But the assurance here is powerful. These detours, these devious ways, they aren't mistakes. They're actually seen as necessary. They ultimately work out for the good of the servant and for the glory of the master, as the text puts it.
So success isn't about the smoothness of the ride. It's about reaching the destination, which is guaranteed no matter how winding the road.
That seems to be the core message, yes.
Okay, so let's bring this home for you, the listener. That core promise, I will be with thee, it means success is baked in, even with, or maybe because of, your imperfections, your earthen vessel.
Right. Victory is assured, but you might have to navigate some unexpected, difficult paths. You had to accept your own short-sightedness, as the source says.
Which leads us to a final thought, something for you to consider. If you really take on board this idea from the source about our inherent short-sightedness, how might that change the way you approach whatever long-term effort you're involved in right now? Could it be that focusing simply on your duty, on staying faithful to the task, rather than fixating on a specific expected outcome? Maybe that is the truer definition of victory.
Something to definitely think about as you navigate those potentially devious ways ahead.